All right, again, and welcome. Thanks for coming to this meeting for Thailand Study Abroad Interest Meeting. You will see, hopefully, the first screen there is our panel for today. I'm going to ask each of these speakers to take a turn introducing themselves briefly. You see some information there, they'll give you a little bit more. And Ms. Bryant, Mr. Edwards, maybe also mention some of the places that you've traveled to. Ms. Bryant?
All right, hey everyone. My name is Kanika Bryant. I'm assistant professor of English here at the college. I primarily teach on the Currituck campus. However, I am teaching virtually this semester. I have traveled to a few places abroad. I've been to Jamaica, mostly Caribbean, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Edwards? Mr. Edwards, you're muted.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Brian Edwards. I am Associate Professor of History here at College of the Albemarle and also Department Chair of Social Sciences. I teach mainly on the Currituck and Elizabeth City campus. And I have done a fair amount of traveling, certainly throughout the United States, the East Coast, going out west, seeing that. I've also been to Europe a couple of times, to Central America, working within the study abroad program, and then also had the opportunity to go to Greece and Turkey, where the picture you see shown here comes from. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. And I am Dr. Dean Roughton. My name is Dean, my title is Dean, so a lot of people just call me Dean, or Dr. Dean. But I'm the Dean of Arts and Sciences, which is all the transfer programs at College of the Albemarle. As the blurb says there, I'm also the co-founder, along with Mr. Edwards, of COA Study Abroad program. He and I have gone together to Nicaragua, to Costa Rica. We took a Europe trip, and tell me if I get some wrong here, Mr. Edwards, but we went to, let's see, Germany, Italy, Austria, France, and what am I missing?
Germany, Austria, Italy, France,
Switzerland.
and Switzerland.
In addition to that, I've traveled as a student myself to Portugal and Spain. I was also part of a Fulbright group that went to Moscow, Russia, which is where this picture that you see of me on the right is. And most recently, I went to Ireland this spring as a part of global educators in the state of North Carolina in K-12 and in college. So between the three of us, we've been quite a few places, very experienced. For the Thailand trip, I am the co-leader, as is Ms. Bryant. The two of us will be the ones taking the lead on that trip for now. So that's us, and we're going to get started with the presentation. Ms. Bryant's going to start us off.
All right, so today's conversation will include questions about why global learning is important in general, COA's North Carolina Scholar of Global Distinction Program, study abroad at COA, the Thailand trip, and then you'll have the opportunity to ask questions and we'll provide answers for you. Okay, so why global learning? So we'll start with the definition. Global education or global learning is not about national borders or travel. It is about sharing problems, knowing that many challenges ultimately affect everyone because of the interconnectedness of today's world citizens. So with that said, the Association of American Colleges and Universities conducted an employer survey. And apparently, employers firmly believe that students need intercultural skills and understanding of societies and countries outside of the US. So once you matriculate from your institution, many employers already expect you to have global competence. Next slide. why global learning in terms of the North Carolina Community College system. So the mission of the North Carolina Community College system is to develop a globally and multiculturally competent workforce. So you may have noticed that many of your courses already have global components embedded in the assignments throughout the work that you've done. And more specifically, College of the Albemarle's mission is to transform lives. Specifically, that can be seen in diversity. We value all backgrounds and perspectives. And more so, we also boast, as a partner with Chapel Hill, the NC Global Distinction Program that Mr. Edwards will be discussing now.
Thank you. We began the North Carolina Scholar of Global Distinction Program here at College of the Albemarle in 2017 to really emphasize global issues, to better prepare students to become global citizens, which is so important in our increasingly interconnected world. Make sure I'm not on mute again. So we have joined with UNC Chapel Hill in this program. Basically, it is an honors program, but it does not have a GPA as most honor fraternities or honors programs have. You do have to meet certain criteria, though, in the program. But they're very easy and actually fun to do. You hopefully will learn quite a bit in doing that towards becoming, again, a global citizen. The first is you have to complete at least 15 credit hours of globally intensive courses. Well, a lot of these courses you're already taking as general college courses. They're things like English 111 and 112. Your histories, world history, of course, or American history, world language, British language, literature would be one. Your languages themselves, we teach Spanish and French here at the college. Economics, even math 143 is considered to be a global course. So all of these tie in, and then there are also some other classes such as global cuisine within the culinary program, a number of courses, international business courses in the business department. So all of these courses are readily available to you, and we're adding more all the time. The second requirement is that you need to participate in 8 international activities and then have a dialogue about those activities. What that means is that you should go to a museum that's having an exhibit on another culture. You can go to a festival for another culture or another nationality. They're also on the COA Global Learning website, some films to watch, and then you have a discussion, basically a discussion board on what you've learned, what you've experienced in those activities. The next thing is really what we're talking about today, and that is gaining global experience. This would be study abroad, taking a trip somewhere else with the college to study, to learn, or if that's not possible, you can have a domestic intercultural experience, to work intimately with another culture here in the United States domestically. That requires 30 hours either of study abroad, which is easily gotten, or in the domestic intercultural experience. And then we put all this together in a capstone presentation that the participant gives Just basically saying what you've learned, how you have grown because of the program. How have you become a global citizen? And if you complete these requirements, then you are going to receive certain rewards for that. First of all, you will receive one of these nice white stoles with the Scholar of Global Distinction logo printed on it that you can wear at your graduation and keep. You also have notation on your official college transcript that you are a global scholar. You get a joint certificate from College of the Albemarle as well as UNC Chapel Hill. And then also the right to list this accomplishment on your college applications as well as job applications, because it is an honor, it is an award. You've gone the extra effort to learn about other cultures, to become an international citizen. Next slide, please. So a little bit about the program itself. We began the program in 2017 when Dr. Roughton saw study abroad as a real opportunity for our students, for College of the Albemarle students, to travel, to learn about other cultures, to discover themselves. And he brought me into the fold, and together with the help of a number of other people, we've created this program. Since 2017, we have been to Nicaragua. A couple of times we have been to the Alpine region of Europe, right around the Alps in the center of Europe, and also to Costa Rica. We've taken a total of 43 participants with us on these trips. We were supposed to go to Puerto Rico last spring break, but we were not able to do that, unfortunately. The trips have been a mixture of things, as you can see from our montage here. It's an occasion to have fun. It's an occasion to connect with people, to have adventures, to see the world. Here you see Chels at the Eiffel Tower, instantly recognizable. Dr. Lieberman is here with an infant down in Nicaragua. Also in Nicaragua, in this bottom center, you see what I consider to be fools ziplining. I do not like heights, so that always seems to be something that they want to get me on. And then also you see our group in Costa Rica at Peace Waterfall, which was a really interesting natural waterfall there that we could get behind, and it was just kind of neat. These trips are also a chance to serve. Service learning has been a big part of what we've done as a group and also while we have the program. And service learning is a type of activity where the participant really gives back to the community, whether it's the domestic community here or whether it would be in another location on a study abroad trip, for instance. And while they're giving something to the community, they're learning something in return. And as I said, this has been a defining part of our trips. In Costa Rica, great example of this, which you see under the word serve, they are building garden flats so that the elementary school that we worked at could grow their own food for their lunches. We also, where it says create, went to a senior center, and there we interacted with the people there, the seniors there. We also went out and beautified the garden. So we've done a lot of work like that. In Nicaragua, we helped clean up another elementary school's garden. And we found over the years that this actually has been one of the favorite parts of the trip for the participants, that they enjoy doing this because it really engages them. It engages them with the community. It engages them with each other. You also hear a lot of the word transformed on the trips from the participants, because they are seeing things for the first time. They are, thank you, they are experiencing new things. They're learning about themselves just as much as they're learning about the outside world. We had 3 individuals in particular that have gone on trips with us. Connor Roughton has gone on 2 trips with us. Brianna Hall went on 2 trips as well. And then Lauren Bolton went on 1 trip. But they are very reflective of the participants' experience that have gone on with our study abroad program. Connor says that he decided that he went on the trip to be out of the country. He'd never been out of the country, rather. He also wanted to immerse himself in Spanish so he could improve his Spanish speaking skills. He says that he learned Spanish a lot faster because he was immersed in it in Nicaragua. He was surrounded by it, and that forced him to use more of his knowledge. It made him less afraid to use his skills that he was developing. So now he can actually, well, he's graduated now, but he could expel in his Spanish courses when he returned. He has a job which also employs some Hispanic workers, and they're able to converse. They actually play soccer together. So this is a really good story coming out of it. Brianna went to our trip to Nicaragua in 2018. She knew that she wasn't through traveling yet. She caught the bug and wanted to do that. She felt that going to Nicaragua and later to Costa Rica really showed her a new way of life. She says, talk here in the United States about doing something about the environment, but in Costa Rica, they really are doing something about it. They wanted to, a lot of the country is engaged in clean fuels, engaged in recycling projects, things of that nature. It's a very environmentally friendly country. And she was really taken with that, and that increased her activism. Another person whose activism was increased is Lauren Bolton. She writes that seeing third world conditions for the first time was a powerful and humbling experience. You know, these situations and people exist from reading about them, from seeing it on TV and in National Geographic, but to hear stories, to see their smiles, to feel their embrace, you realize that these people are just like you. Had they been born in the same zip code, they'd be your neighbors, your family, your friends. This experience had really opened my eyes to different possibilities for my future. This was truly an inspirational experience. I went in wanting to change lives and ended up changing my own. And I actually just saw Lauren yesterday at the vet, and she still holds this true. She wants to give back to the larger community and is entering nursing school to do that. So these trips have been a big part of transforming, of growing as an individual. And hopefully you can come on our trip to Thailand next year, and that you can find this to be true as well through service and also through some fun things, some fun activities. You can find out more about our Global Distinction Program at the website listed. It's there on the COA main website. And then also, we highly recommend that you like us on Facebook. We have a website there, or whatever you call it, a page there. And it's a way that we can communicate with the community when we're away and show what we're doing, but we also have periodic updates on the larger program. So we recommend that you go to those two sites too to keep in touch with us. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Edwards. So now we're getting to the part of the presentation, which is what most of you probably are really honing in on, the specific Thailand trip. So why Thailand? This is a place that we have not visited before. If you heard the places that Mr. Edwards described that we've been to, they've been European countries, or for the most part, they've been Latino countries. So we wanted to do something to broaden our own and our students' experiences beyond just our own Western Hemisphere. And the faculty and the staff met and came up with some different choices, but ultimately it was a meeting with students who are participating in study abroad that chose Thailand as our next destination. So we thought that was a pretty good idea, so that's how we landed on Thailand. You may have seen flyers, either PDF in your emails or on campus that has this information. Mr. Edwards talked about service learning, and that is central to our trips. So here are some things that we may be doing when we go to Thailand. Again, working with classrooms, teaching English, or doing some restoration work. Similarly, some renovation at orphanages to improve the living conditions, again, depending on the needs at the time we're there. A really cool one that I hope we do get to do is to work at an elephant sanctuary to feed and wash the animals, and even help the center workers maintain the grounds. We did something similar in Costa Rica. We worked at a animal sanctuary with a bunch of endangered species, and we helped maintain those grounds, but we've not done something like this with elephants before, so this would be a really cool opportunity. In addition to the work service learning part, here are some highlights. And again, these might be subject to change by the time we get there, but this is what's planned right now. It's to tour Bangkok on bicycles, in which case you can stop, take pictures of all the amazing architecture, the people, whatever happens to be going on. Muay Thai, you may have heard of. Basically, this is Thai kickboxing, but it uses all of your appendages. It's not just your traditional kickboxing. So we're supposed to go to a school that showcases that. As the picture shows, we hope to see Thai dancing, which is supposed to be given as an expression of thanks for the work we've done. The community that we're going to work with is going to arrange this dancing for us. We're going to visit a national park / botanical garden, which has over 2,000 botanical species. We saw a lot of that also in Costa Rica, which had a lot of biodiversity, but Thailand is going to be similar in that respect. And a really unique thing that we hope to do that's on the itinerary so far that we've never done before is to spend the night in a monastery with Buddhist monks and actually get to practice meditation with them leading us on that for an overnight experience. So when is this taking place? The plan is for spring break 2021. That's when the trip is booked for. We leave Friday, April 2nd. This coming year, there are no classes scheduled on that Good Friday, so we gain an extra day for the trip. And then we'll return a week from that Sunday on April 11th. So it's a Friday the 2nd through Friday the 11th. And we'll be flying out of Norfolk Airport. So who can go? It's pretty much wide open. There is a sort of a pecking order. COA students always have first priority. And when we talk a little bit more about the money part later, COA students are the only ones obviously eligible for scholarships because it is a COA funded trip. But COA faculty and staff can also go. And in fact, we've had some people go on trips with us who were not students, but who worked here. Community members can actually go. Obviously, community members are not eligible for the scholarships, but we have groups sometimes where kids and their parents want to go, and that's perfectly fine. Assuming that we have room on the trip. The main caveat on the WHO part is that you have to be at least 17 years of age at the time of the trip. So that means next April you have to be 17. There have been a couple of situations where we're a little bit flexible on that. Maybe you were 17 right after we were coming back from the trip and we kind of let people go. But in general, you need to be 17 at the time of, not today, but at the time of the trip. So the cost, here's the part that people often want to get to first. So there's 2 tiers because depending on how old you are, we can put you more people to a room. If you're under the age of 23, the tour company can put 3 or 4 participants in a room and the cost is $3,558 after your deposit that holds your place. Similarly, if you're 23 and older, we only put 2 people to a room, so that's why that's a little bit more there, $4,043 after the deposit. In addition, we are now requiring, because of the impact of COVID, you must purchase the Travel Protection Plan Plus. The Plus is the upgraded protection plan. For this trip, I believe it's $180, but when you sign up, it gives you the exact amount. But last time I looked, it was $180. The good thing about this plan, which I'll talk about a little bit more later, is that a traveler can cancel for any reason and receive a majority refund. If you pay the $180, it greatly diminishes any money that you would lose. So we are requiring that because we don't know what the future holds. We can't promise you what's going to happen with COVID, but this is a way for us to minimize risk. So it does still sound like a lot of money, but there are a lot of ways that we've come up with and that the company has come up with to help with the affordability factor. First of all, when you sign up for monthly payments. So you're not paying $4,000 or $3,500 as the case may be all at one time. So the sooner a person signs up, the lower those monthly payments will be because the more payments you'll be able to make. We have 3 people who signed up way back when we first did this at the end of February, and they've been making steady payments, and they have already paid for 2/3 of their trip. So the monthly payments help keep your monthly costs down. If you're a student, there's also scholarships through the graces of the COA Foundation, as well as several Rotary clubs that Mr. Edwards and others have worked with to get donations. We are able to offer some scholarships to students. We can't tell you the exact amount right now because the exact amount depends on the final number of students who will be dividing up the pot. However, we can tell you that in the past, it's ranged anywhere from $500 to almost $1,000 per student. So it's a pretty significant amount that scholarships are available if you are a student at COA, and that means you can be a dual enrolled high school student as well at the time of the trip. The only caveat is that you have to either complete it or be enrolled in 12 credit hours by spring. So counting this semester and then the next semester, your enrollment must be at least 12 hours. We've also started doing some group fundraising. You'll see down in the picture there, the tidal wave ticket. We sold some tickets to the car wash here in Elizabeth City over the summer. They support fundraising efforts for nonprofits, and the college is a nonprofit organization, and we raised over $750 just in that one fundraiser alone to go towards scholarship funds. We plan to do another one around October or early November, so we'll have another group fundraising activity coming up. Individually, you can do personal fundraising pages. As you see the screenshot on the right-hand side, Explorica is the company we work with, and they've created a personal fundraising page, which is very similar to a GoFundMe type page, but it explains who you are and what you're doing so that it makes it legitimate. It's something that you can sign up for when you sign up for the trip, and they give you links that you can share on your social media or via email to make it very easy to let your family and friends know what you're doing and how they can support you. We do have a student who's doing this semester already, and she has raised almost $400 the personal fundraising page from her family and friends just making contributions to her page. So these are several ways that you can gain money and keep the cost down. So what about COVID-19? What are we going to do? So as Brian Edwards said, we were supposed to go to Puerto Rico in the spring, and that's when everything happened with travel restrictions based on the spread of COVID. We know things are getting better, but we're not out of the woods yet. We also know if we don't go ahead and plan for this trip and start making payments, we'll never be able to do it when the time does come. But we also want to make sure that we are protecting ourselves and our students financially, as well as from the virus itself. So as I said before, the Travel Protection Plan Plus is required. Explorica, after COVID hit, came up with what they call this travel with confidence concept. So that if you do purchase the Protection Plan Plus, you minimize any cancellation fee that would occur. So if we can't go because the government says we can't, or there's travel restrictions that just prevent it, the country might not let us in as Americans, or whatever the case may be because of COVID. Ordinarily, the cancellation fee would be what you see on the screen there. But in the note, if you have the coverage, it only costs $75. So you get the majority of your money back. So we're really excited. This is a new program they instituted because obviously they've been impacted by the COVID spread as well. So this is a way to help us be assured that even if something drastic were to happen and we couldn't go, it's not like you're going to lose all your money. But it's not just about money with COVID. It's also about the health aspect of it. So I'm going to see if I can pull up this message from World Strides, which is the parent company of Explorica, talking about what they've done to make it safer for students to travel.
Hi, I'm Terry Morglione, Chief Experience Health and Safety Officer for World Strides. I've spent more than 3 decades helping to deliver learning experiences to students outside the classroom, and certainly this is a time like none other. The public health challenges presented by COVID-19 are serious and evolving, and we are committed to reimagining our experiences to fit these times. I'm proud of the work our team did to support the safe return home of students last spring and to reschedule so many experiences for the future. Like most things, the experiences we offer going forward will need to change to meet the challenges of the new world. Since April, we've had a task force meeting regularly to identify all the ways we will adjust for health and safety. We're lucky that we have always made a big investment in health and safety and have an experienced team and expert advisors to guide and support us. As I said, things are changing quickly, so we'll continue to update our protocols and plans accordingly. Right now, several things we're committed to doing on programs include providing masks and hand sanitizer for our staff and for you to help you navigate requirements for face coverings and to keep hands clean during your program. Training. We've developed new training for our team members, and part of that includes having them share information with you through pre-departure or on-site briefings to help you navigate the experiences you'll have with us. Sickness protocols. We've worked closely with our medical director and our Doctors on Call partners at the George Washington University Department of Emergency Medicine to develop detailed plans for what we will do if our participants show symptoms of COVID-19 while they are with us. And cleaning and hygiene. We're talking with the many partners we work with to deliver your program, and they have comprehensive plans for food preparation and extra cleaning of buses, hotels, and more. We have lots of different types of programs in lots of different places. We're evaluating each program individually, and we will only support them when we can make the right modifications for safety and support a rich experience for you. That's the focus of our task force, and our work is ongoing. Please stay safe and healthy. We can't wait to experience the world with you again soon.
So I'm going to stop the screen sharing now and open it up for any questions that you may have. If you have a question, you can type it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and just ask the question.
Hey, Dean, this is Christina Weisner. I was just curious, are there still any scholarships available for the students in DARE?
That's a great question. Part of the Rotary Club donations were for Dare County students. So we do have, while we have scholarship money for students in general, we have specific scholarship monies earmarked for Dare County students. In fact, I have 3 $1,000 scholarships that we can award to students specifically from Dare County on a first come, first served basis. That means to apply, be accepted, and put down the deposit. Not to say that we don't have other scholarship money for other students, because we do, but the other scholarship money is more general, and these $3,000 scholarships specifically are for Dare students. So like I said, first come, first served for Dare residents who meet the criteria.
Thanks.
So Kene says, when will the full amount be due? Basically what's going to happen when you sign up is you'll do payments, and I think the last payment comes due, Mr. Edwards, is about 2 months before the trip. Does that sound about right? So around February is when the full amount should be due, but any students who get scholarships, we will send that money in January, and you will know by the middle of this semester, because our priority scholarship application is the middle of September. So you'll have an idea in the middle of fall how much scholarship you'll receive to offset your costs. So Dr. Lettieri says, what does anyone who is interested need to do now? What is the initial commitment? Great question, Dr. Lettieri. So if you have an interest in joining this program, number one, email me and I will send you an FAQ, frequently asked questions, which is going to reiterate much of what we already said here today, but it might give you a few more details about what's covered, what's not covered. It will also send you the application that you will fill out as far as joining the program, and separately a scholarship application, which is basically a short essay to fill out, just answering some prompts. The scholarship application needs to be updated because right now it says that you can't apply for the scholarships because it's over with. But if you are going to be a student in January and you're going to have, like I said, the 12 hours combined between now and January, you will be eligible. So I would encourage anybody who wants to go to actually do the scholarship application. If we have extra money, we may be able to give it out anyway. So don't ever pass up on the chance to get free money. So email me, get the FAQs, and get the scholarship application. When I receive the program application, we will go through it. We will contact your faculty or staff reference to see what they have to say about you. Once you get approved, you will want to go on the site and create an account and put down the $50 deposit and pay for the travel insurance. And then that will set up your plan. So the first thing is send me an email to get the scholarship application and the program application. Other questions?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I'm student of the College of the Albemarle. I'm international student.
Yes.
Maybe you know about Erasmus program.
I do.
I used to be in that program like 4 years ago. I graduated from university already, and I start to college in the United States again. And it was like Erasmus program. My college, my university was take the whole cost before. This program is not like that, right?
No, so Erasmus is a long-term study abroad. I'm sure you had that experience where you went for at least a whole semester. This is short-term study abroad, and currently it's not tied to a class. We hope to tie it to class credit in the future, but currently the only requirement for a class is you have to be a student in some program at College of the Albemarle, not any specific class.
I got you. Thank you so much.
Sure. Any other questions? Any feedback from you? Open your mic and let us know what you're thinking. What do you think about this idea of going to Thailand? Anybody open up and speak on that?
One thing that's really neat just about traveling, if you haven't done that before, is that it puts so much into context. You can see things with fresh eyes, particularly if you have taken, for instance, world literature. Then you can go and see the locations that they're actually writing about. If you, for instance, have gone to a wonderful restaurant here on the Outer Banks, the Thai Room, one of the workers there, Thumb, was actually a trained dancer. And so occasionally she would put on a show of her dancing in the classical manner. And that would be a great thing to see again in context, to see, you know, a full troupe of dancers to do that. I had the opportunity a couple of years ago, as I mentioned earlier, to go to Turkey, which is, you know, ancient Asia Minor, and go to Troy. Troy was the place in two classic Greek stories, the Iliad and then the Odyssey, the follow-up to it. And I was able to see it, to understand it a little bit better. So travel like this really helps you to do that. And so if you are able to travel, I highly encourage you to do it. And I highly encourage you to do it in a situation like this, where it is not just turning you, shall we say, out into the world, but you're going with people who have studied it, who know it, who can discuss it with you, who can help in, again, that learning process, that discovery process. And so that's what makes this program so neat and so useful, at least to me. So thank you.
So we do have a couple of questions. One's private, you might not be able to see, and then another one everybody can see. Somebody's asking about rooming situation. My younger sister is interested in coming along. If she goes, can we room together? Or other students may just ask, even if they're not related, can they room together? We do have a certain amount of control over room assignments. So we take your preferences into consideration. The only thing that you would want to worry about here is if one of you is in the 23 and above category and you have to go to the two-person room, to share a room, the younger person would have to pay to upgrade to that same room. So it costs a little bit more, but it could be done. But if you're both in the lower age bracket, it wouldn't matter, and we can put you in the room immediately. Sometimes this happens if a parent and a child goes. The parent obviously is going to be over 23, and the child may have to pay an upgrade if they want to stay with the parent, or maybe they don't want to stay with the parent, and they continue to stay with their friend. So yes, we can arrange rooms based on your preferences. Another question, if your student is not eligible because of age now, have you thought about the 2022 destination yet? We have not specifically had that conversation yet. Our last conversation surrounded the idea of a rotation in which we would go back to a Spanish-speaking Latin American country, possibly Costa Rica again, or Belize, but it has not been firmly decided because we'd like to take our current trip students' information and preferences into consideration when we choose that. So no, it's not been decided. The other thing, and this may or may not apply, we have made some allowances in the past if a parent does want to go, that they might be able to bring a child a little bit younger because we know that parent is there and that's an extra set of responsible adult eyes to help out with that parent. So that would be a case-by-case basis. We would just have to have that discussion with you. But if that's not an option, then as far as 2022, Mr. Edwards, correct me if I'm wrong, we have not decided, but probably leaning towards, again, somewhere in Latin America.
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Any kind of questions at all? Okay, if there are no other questions, we won't keep you. Feel free to email me. My email is on that flyer, or you can search me on the website. It's dean_roughton@albemarle.edu. So whether it's just a question, send that, or if you actually want to move forward and get an application, let me know that as well. If you know Ms. Bryant or Ms. Edwards or even Ms. Weisner as a teacher here, I also see Dr. Jill Lettieri and Bradley Boswell are teachers. If you have them for a class, they can also give you some information, or they can direct you to the right person to give you that information. We do thank you for coming, and we hope to see you involved with the program. And everybody have a great day.